Hello lads, lassies, and those of unspecified gender, it's the Irishman here, and today I'm going to be talking about what would have happened if my guy was a Hyuga. The audio quality might be a little strange. I'm currently recording in a room with kind of, weird acoustics. So, if it seems off, that's why. If you're an active member of the Naruto community, then you know that people choose to do different sorts of what-ifs, but most of them revolve around Naruto or Sasuke. What if Naruto had the Sharingan? What if Sasuke had the Nine Tails? Stuff along those lines. There are some more interesting ones and more unique ones, such as what if Naruto was an Inozuka, or what if Sasuke was a girl? That last one scaring me quite a bit. I'm certainly not transphobic, it's just the fanboys would be wild. But the point is, people choose to make what-ifs that they're particularly interested in. It just so happens most of them focus on, well, most of them are the same thing. If you give Naruto an extra clan, I would expect you to actually put a lot of detail on how Naruto behaves in that clan. You make Naruto an Uchiha, well, how exactly does he behave as an Uchiha? You can't just make him a carbon copy of Sasuke, because that's not who Naruto is. He is the reincarnation of Ashura, and therefore will behave like that, unless you specifically change it to make both Sasuke and Naruto into reincarnations, which makes no sense, and therefore Naruto and Sasuke are never going to be similar characters. That's just not how the show works. Therefore, to have Naruto be an Uchiha, you really have to delve into what an Uchiha Ashura reincarnation would be. And I don't see a lot of people undergoing those sorts of ideas. That's why I feel like when you're making a what-if about Naruto or Sasuke, you have to be really careful with how you organize everything with it. And although I am probably going to do what-ifs about them in the future, right now, starting off, I would like to focus on a different character. Might Guy, who I feel like definitely, probably, should have been a part of the Hyuga clan. Not just because I feel like it would make him incredibly powerful, but also because I feel like it would actually fit his personality quite well. To begin the story, what actual branch family would Might Guy be a part of? Well, I'm going to definitely have to go with the side branch. Not because I feel like Might Guy would have to be naturally disadvantaged, but rather because I just don't feel like it really suits Might Guy to be a part of the naturally more gifted and talented family. Maito Guy would still be the son of Maito Dai. Therefore, Might Dai has to be from the Hyuga clan as well, unless we want to say that Might Guy's mother, who we don't really know anything about, would be a Hyuga clan member. And even though this would be an easy out for me, I really don't believe Might Guy has a mom. Instead, I subscribe to the theory that Might Dai, as well as Might Guy later on in life, just worked and trained so hard, he asexually reproduced by all of the blood, sweat, and tears he got from training so hard, formed into a sentient life form that became Might Guy, and for Might Guy, Rock Lee. Now, for the purposes of this what-if, we're going to say this isn't true for Rock Lee, only because I have other plans for him later that require him not to be Might Guy's son, even though he very clearly is. But Might Dai is both Might Guy's father and mother. Now, the first major change in our story would actually occur with Might Dai, rather than his son, who is the focus point for this what-if. Although Dai is the eternal genin and relatively weak, he would be relatively weak for Hyuga standards. And if you know anything about Hyuga standards, you know if you're weak, you might die. So, Dai here would be stronger than before, quite considerably so, as well as having the 8 gates still, meaning that when he encounters the 7 swordsmen, he only needs to use the 7th gate to do what he did in the original with the 8th. Yeah, this does still leave him bedridden and in the hospital for quite some time, but he's still able to recover. So, Might Dai is still very much alive by the time of the Nine Tails attack. But before we can get to that event, there's still one more thing I would like to mention. Obito would get absolutely creamed in the Chunin exams. My guy already smacked the goggles off of him in their fight, but here, if he used the 8 gates in the original, he wouldn't need to in this match, as he has the Byakugan, as well as still having his insane taijutsu prowess. In fact, probably to an even higher degree here, as once again, he is a Hyuga clan member. Now, with that aside out of the way, let's talk about the Ninetales attack. Obito would still be able to barrage through all of the Anbu guarding Kushina, as well as blitz past Minato, grabbing Naruto from Hiruzen's wife, and standing there with the baby in his hands, putting a knife to its throat, saying that if Minato doesn't do what he says, the baby's gonna die. The 4th Hokage, being in a vulnerable state, would agree, and when Minato is forced to step back from his wife's side, Obito would drop Naruto and rush over to Kushina, unleashing the Ninetales after breaking the seal, while Minato rushes over to grab Naruto. He's able to pick him up and carry him to safety, but Kushina is in danger, as the Ninetales was just unleashed. And as we know, even if you're an Uzumaki, you can't last long without your tailed beast. So Minato, acting fast, would teleport home with Naruto still in his arms, placing him in the bed he had planned to lay both with his child and his wife in, before then rushing back to the battlefield, saving Kushina and then facing off against the masked man who unleashed the 9-tailed beast, although most of this does go basically the same. The thing that really changes with this entire event is the fact that my guy would not take no for an answer when Hiruzen says to stay back. Although most of the Jonin were forced to not interact with the Ninetales as they couldn't do much, my guy would not go for that here. Yeah, he might have the same personality, and he probably did try and act out against this in the original, but the key difference is Hiruzen couldn't stop him now. My guy would rush to the battlefield facing off against the Ninetales. Now, just to put into perspective how absolutely busted my guy would be here, he not only has the insane explosive power of Rock Lee in Shippuden, but he also has the precise and incredible technique that comes from Neji. So just imagine if you took Rock Lee times Neji plus 1. That's my guy here. And although he can't exactly defeat the Ninetales on his own, he can come pretty dang close. And with the assistance of Minato, Hiruzen, as well as many different Anbu members, they're able to restrain the Ninetales long enough for Minato to seal it away. Now who would he seal it in? Well, he would actually take some more time and consideration before actually jumping into the effort of getting this beast put away. He would think about it. What could he do to actually save the most amount of people while still keeping the Ninetales as Konoha's weapon? Well, what he would do would seal away about 1/8 of the Ninetales inside of Kushina, enough to allow her to still survive, while only having a select amount, enough to where the rest could still be used as a powerful force, and that way she wouldn't be a huge target. Yeah, sure, she has some Ninetales chakra, but only about a 6-tails worth, which, don't get me wrong, is still a lot of chakra, but in comparison to the Ninetales, yeah, not that much. But what would happen with the rest of the Ninetales chakra, the part that actually carries the mind of Kurama itself, as well as the part that would continue to reform itself, possibly even being able to regenerate the chakra that was cut off and given to Kushina within a matter of days? Well, that part of the Ninetales would be cleaved in two separate halves, both equal as well as opposites, a yin and a yang Kurama. The yang half would be given to Naruto, while the yin half would be kept by Minato. This would ensure that the Ninetales would always be a weapon that Konoha can utilize, one half given to the current strongest ninja in the village, and the other to what Minato assumes will be the strongest ninja in the village at some point. But this wouldn't just be something Minato would hope for, rather something he aims to ensure, and he'd be capable of doing this as he would not die here. with the assistance of Might Guy and even Might Dai, who would be capable of using the 8th gate. In fact, just because I feel like it would add to the narrative, let's say that Might Dai actually does use the 8th gate to protect the village and stop the Ninetales attack entirely. Minato has a lot of chakra, and also wouldn't need to resort to using the Reaper Death Seal to put the Ninetales into people. Instead, he can use the 8-trigram seal on Naruto, the 8-trigram seal on himself, and something basic to give Kushina the chakra that is required for her survival. I was going to say that Minato is probably low on chakra at this point, but honestly, I doubt it, seeing as he was able to use the Reaper Death Seal on the Ninetales, meaning he either has equal to or greater chakra than half of Kurama himself. So, Minato probably still has a bit in reserve. Obito would quickly realize that his plan has completely and utterly failed. The Ninetales barely was able to even wreak a little havoc in the village, as there were people on site immediately to try and stop it. Now, granted, they weren't able to do a lot, but once Might Dai arrived and used the 8th gate, like I'm saying he would here, alongside the fact that he has the Byakugan and enhanced taijutsu ability, well, the Ninetales didn't really stand much of a chance. So, it was taken down relatively easily, and it's not like Obito was able to grab any of its chakra because he just didn't have the chance to, or maybe he just didn't think of it. Either way, since he didn't in the original, he wouldn't here, and now there are 3 different Jinchuriki. Granted, one isn't really a Jinchuriki anymore, and would probably weed herself off of the Ninetales chakra, that way her body doesn't rely on it, but Minato and Naruto both have half of the Ninetales, and there's no way he's going to be able to take it from either of them. Naruto might not be strong, seeing as he is still an infant, but he's going to be heavily guarded from this point on. And Minato, well, he's Minato Namikaze. He's incredibly powerful, and Obito doesn't really stand a chance against him anymore. Not that he did before, but still. Although, Obito doesn't exactly have time to dwell on this because Minato, who would probably be able to befriend Kurama extremely quickly, and yes, I am saying he gets his Jin cloak like that, because, quite frankly, he would. He's the nicest guy in all of Naruto, and if anyone could help the Ninetales get over its hatred, it's Minato. So, relatively quickly, Minato would befriend the Ninetales and gain access to basically all of its power. And now, he has one thing on his mind: finding the person who not only came after his village, but also his family. Although, at the moment, Minato does have more pressing matters to attend to, as in the Uchiha facing suppression. Danzo would say that seeing as the Ninetales had a Sharingan on its eyes when it was attacking and rampaging, the Uchiha must have had some involvement in the attack. Fugaku would say that these claims are completely idiotic, and the Uchiha have no reason to do this. Minato would actually agree. Seeing as he's the Hokage, he has the most say in this meeting, and would immediately dispute what Danzo is saying, not only because it's completely asinine as well as kind of racist, or at the very least prejudice, but Minato also knows who attacked the village. It was Madara Uchiha. Danzo isn't completely wrong, it was an Uchiha, but it wasn't one that actually belongs to the village, not even to the Uchiha clan itself, really. Minato would then teleport to Obito's location, kind of just leaving the meeting, and then returning a few minutes later, having knocked out Obito and brought him into the room to demonstrate to everyone there. Although, once Minato goes to unmask this person to prove his point, he's completely awestruck. This isn't Madara Uchiha at all. It's Obito.